kind of talked and visited, as it went along, but it was suggested that I go ahead and use the mic. I'd like to welcome you to our first meeting of the Bismarck Crime Watch. And we have really been humbled by how much support that we've had from the community. Matter of fact, just within the last 2 days, we reached 1,200 members of the Bismarck Crime Watch. So that's 1,200 people in the community that are going to be keeping an eye on each other's property or, seeing things go on, and it gives an avenue for, them to report, anything suspicious that might do. Before we get started, I'd like to recognize our law enforcement that are here tonight. Sheriff, y'all stand up, and I appreciate y'all coming out, this today and everything. And would you like to say a few words? If you wanted to come up and talk for just a moment, I really appreciate you coming out and supporting us. And for those of you who haven't met me, I'm Mitch Finley. This is my wife, Amy, sitting here on the front step here, and she's put up with me for a number of years.
Mine is too. Now, that is a huge number, and with that many eyes and ears, it's great. It truly is. It's nowhere else in the county, I promise you that. The only thing I'd ask is, when you put something out there, just make sure it's factual, and, where we don't go arrest the wrong guy. And, I have, it's 2 different times. So, if don't take third-hand information, because it's so distorted. Every time it goes through 3 different people, it's unreal. But I'm very proud, that there's that many people interested in their neighbors, because that doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in this county ever. So, and the only thing I was having, the only thing that can fix us in the sheriff's department is we're so understaffed. We're the most understaffed agency for the population in the state of Arkansas. One guy goes down, we're hurt. But y'all know we got one on one end, one on the other. So it's just an ongoing process. And if we get 2 or 3 down, we're really stretching it. We're stretched to where 3 people's even. We've got 3 people down right now, but I'm telling you, one goes down, we've got a problem. And the only way to fix that is, we need deputies. We need road deputies, and we need people in the jail. And we are going to present. I know this is not everybody's favorite word in the world, but we're going to present a tax for the county. And I haven't spoken to the fire departments. I plan on this week, but we're looking for a half cent, and a quarter of it would go to the fire departments, and a quarter of it would go to us. What that would mean to you is, it would double your coverage, of officers on the road. Our officers right now average 300 miles a day, and that's a lot of miles. That's per shift. That's a 112-hour shift. I heard today, and I don't know how true it is or whatever, but the city of Malvern is going to propose a 1.5 cent tax. And the way they're going to accomplish this, the people in the city are not going to have to pay for their property taxes. So it's a no-brainer for them. But, if you've got 7,000 people in Malvern and 25,000, 30,000 people in the county, a lot of y'all shop in Malvern. And, there's only so much I can say, I guess, but in my eyes, and I don't care who it is, it's going to hurt the county. Because we're the ones going to pay. You don't get gas, you're going to pay it, and I might be just blowing smoke. But I think it's pretty well gonna happen.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah. Thank you. We also have, people here from the fire department, I believe. If you would, stand up, I want to recognize anyone from the fire department. I know we have, 911 operators and emergency responders. If y'all would stand up, please. By the way, everybody gets a chance, go by and shake Rock's hand. He's a volunteer reserve deputy, but he's 911 operator also, and he's on our site. And I think having him on our site, we get our issues on this end of the county presented in a more timely manner by having him with us, and I really appreciate that. And also military. We have military veterans or current serving, anyone that's involved with the military. If you're here, we want to recognize you also because, we know. Before I get started, so I won't forget it, on the assistance program organizations, and this really doesn't have anything to do with Crime Watch, but it does too. We also want to be mindful of our community and trying to help in any way we can. But the Bismarck United Methodist Church, the hours are currently 2 to 5 p.m. on Wednesdays, 2 to 5 p.m. If y'all mark your deal for that. And Pleasantville Church Price has actually discontinued their program for the time being, and they may have joined with, with another group. So we would cross that out with that too. Do we have? I know Paul Maddox has talked about being here. Do we have anybody from the news? Any news organizations? I appreciate you coming.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming. People have asked me why that I went to the trouble of even starting this group. I mean, I'm retired now, and I was just kidding with some people. I have like 5 different boats in the yard that haven't been in the water for 2 years, and why I started this. But I grew up in this community. I've been here since I was a toddler. Went to school at Bismarck all the years, and I remember a time when the neighbors, you knew your neighbors, but you also visited with your neighbors, and you looked after one another. And it just bothered me to see all the things that were happening in our community that everybody just didn't seem to have any way to cope with it. We had vandalism going on, we had reckless driving going on, we had people stealing things, cutting their locks on their buildings, stealing four-wheelers. It was just, it just wasn't the community, that I remember. And the frustration in someone's voice when they were telling me that, we had one case where an elderly gentleman, had his four-wheeler stolen, and that was the only way that he could get out and travel around on his property. He wasn't able to walk. And he rode that four-wheeler, and it just broke my heart, that would happen. So I thought, I had already started the Bismarck slot shop, and seemed to be well received and everything. I said, well, we'll just see, if anybody's interested in a crime watch group. And it has really, really been humbling to see how well received it's been to the people, and I think we've had a lot of success already. We haven't been in existence for just a few months, and we've already, when we first got this, I don't know if y'all remember some of the first people on here, he'll report of some young man in a certain car, driving recklessly, almost running people off the road, almost hit people head on. Had reports on a different deal of what we thought were kids going around with slingshots, or something, shooting out windows of people's cars. You know, they just slow down and bust out a window and go on. And one of those windows was with a family that I personally knew that lived over close to my dad. What these kids weren't thinking of, you know, that family had just gone through a major medical event. The husband had had a heart attack. He had to miss work. Thank goodness, you know, he recovered. And it was really a hardship for them, you know, much less the frustration of having that done, you know, to one of their vehicles. And, you know, and we got the word out and we got that stopped. You know, we got that stopped. And it was really encouraging that we had that done. I was trying to do this, you know, by myself, and, you know, and be the administrator and try to cover all the bases and do everything else, and then quickly outgrew anything that I could see about. And I think some people realized that I go to bed early, so it seemed like all the drama would happen after I would go to bed. I'd get up the next morning and, you know, the side had almost blown up, you know, with you know, different things. So I brought in additional administrators, and with my administrators that I've got now stand up, I've got, you know, all of these people watching, monitoring our Crime Watch site, and you know, and you'll get a chance to meet them, you know, in just a little bit, you know, because we're going to, you know, have them in the back when we actually give you an opportunity to sign up. You know, we came to a point, you know, in one sense, it's really fantastic that we have 1,200 members of the Bismarck Crime Watch. But in another sense, it's like, wow, we have 1,200 members, and I've had people tell me that they weren't real comfortable in really talking about issues in their community. They didn't know those people. They didn't want to, they felt like they would put it out in a newspaper or something for 1,200 people to try to see it. And there's just no way, the way Bismarck is spread out, that, you know, that you can get to know everyone, you know, in the, even the, what I call the greater Bismarck area, much less down on the Gray Lake or up in Point Cedar, and in different areas. So I felt like it was important to split our people up into satellite groups under one big umbrella that's Bismarck Crime Watch. That's still going to be there, and that's still going to have, you know, the information I think people are going to need to be able to get to work safely and know what's going on in and around Bismarck. But we created 6 satellite groups: Bismarck, Point Cedar, New Roach, Haney, Ampey Road, and the Gray Lake area. And this is pretty much the Bismarck School District area. Now we've got members in Bismarck Crime Watch that live in Hot Springs, live in Arkadelphia, live different places that may have grown up here or have family here, and they've you know, wanted to know what was going on in the Bismarck area. And so we decided to go to these satellite groups within Bismarck Crime Watch. These groups are going to be limited to only people that actually live in those areas, because we want those people to know who their neighbors are. We want them to know that those people have a vested interest in that community, and they'll be able, hopefully, to talk more freely among themselves about issues that are, you know, facing in that community. So that's where we came up with the idea of phase 2, you know, of this, you know, of this deal, and was not going to start it until tonight, but as it turned out, we ended up starting it on February the 7th. And it's a good thing we did, because all of my planning, I had several bugs that needed to be worked out of that deal, and we got all those worked out and kind of got a different idea of what we wanted to do with it. And that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about tonight, that and just exactly what we can do as a community to assist law enforcement, or to assist the fire department, or to assist first responders. Because this isn't about getting out and doing a patrol, and certainly, you know, if you know, don't confront anybody. If you do, you know, I don't know you, because that's not what we're about. I want us to be the eyes and ears of our community And in order to do that, I want us to be prepared and in a mindset when you see something that's unusual, if you see something that's suspicious. Just about everyone has a phone, you know, on them that takes a picture. Most of you probably have smartphones. I've still got one of the old dinosaurs, flip phone, and you know, and I can call on it, and I can send a few text messages, and I can take a decent picture maybe, but that's about it. It's a joke around my house that if I got a smartphone, it wouldn't be very smart, and wrong would be using it. But you know, the phones that people have nowadays actually take a picture as well or better than most cameras that I grew up with. And so I want you to take a picture. If you see something unusual, if you see something that is out of place or whatever, take a picture. Somebody nearly blows you off the road or whatever, and you're driving down there and they pull over and take their picture. And I want everybody in the community, you know, the good guys and the bad guys, to know that we're going to take their picture. And if, you know, don't do anything with those pictures. I don't want you to flood the sheriff's department. I sure don't want them all sent to me. But if we have an issue in the community, and you know, in your area of the community, and you had seen something suspicious and you had taken a picture of it, then at that time would be the time to share that, you know, with the sheriff's office, and just, you know, we'll get a deal where you can like email them to them, or you know, or do something like that. And then they can use that as part of their investigative tool, you know, to kind of have an idea. Well, you know, we've got a picture of this blue truck, you know, that, you know, and that was in this area on that day that someone, you know, shed got broken into and a four-wheel was stolen, and hopefully assist them in that way. Now, the other part of this is, I don't know how successful we'll be at catching some of these thieves or crooks. You know, that's not up to me to do, and I know it's hard, you know, to get that done. But I want them to know, you know, I want them to know that we are going to be taking their picture, that we're going to be watching them, that we're going to be looking out. We have 1,200 people now in this group that's going to be looking out for each other. And what I want to do is to discourage them from being in our area. If they're going to do anything, they're going to say, hey, let's go to Arkadelphia, or let's go, you know, let's go to Amity, let's go somewhere else. Let's get out of Bismarck. These people are, you know, these people are serious about watching out for one another. So either way, we have our problem solved. You know, it'd be great if we could catch every thief out there, but that's, you know, I've been in business long enough. I've managed Sherwin-Williams Company for 35 years, and that doesn't always happen. As a matter of fact, I didn't intend to, but I became a poster boy for Bismarck Crime. I was actually hoodwinked by an individual that convinced me just how, you know, he was honest as the day was long, and he bought a small trailer from me and paid like a slot machine, you know, on it. You know, he taught me into taking a small trailer and everything. Well, as soon as he paid me, he started working on a more expensive trailer that he, you know, that he had a buyer for. You know, if I just let him carry that trailer with him, he needed to move a car and have a buyer for it. And before it was over, me being trusting as I am, he actually walked off with close to $2,000 worth of merchandise. And, you know, so when I finally found out that he had already sold my trailer and I couldn't find any of my other things, and I actually put that out on our Crime Watch, and I actually put it out on a swap shop in Malvern, I got my trailer recovered. Someone had seen it either on our Crime Watch page or on Malvern. They didn't say which, and called me, and I got to recover my trailer. I'm still missing about, you know, $1,000, $1,100 worth of stuff, and I filed charges. And, you know, and y'all read my post about that. Every time, this isn't the first time that I've had something stolen. And it's not the first time that I've called on our sheriff's department. But they were the most understanding, most professional people that I had ever dealt with. And I applaud you for that, for having that quality. I was very impressed. I And, you know, and I think we have that available to everyone in our group, you know. But I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm human, and you know, and I used to have to deal with customers that weren't really satisfied and everything. You know, if you will get behind our sheriff's department and you will help them, you will try to give them whatever they need to do their job, then they want to help us. But if you're standing there saying, well, our sheriff department's not any good and scuffing the ground, and I'm not going to say anything to them or whatever. If you go into the situation with a negative attitude and negative comments, then they're human too. They're professionals, but they're human too. You know, and I'm not going to say you're not going to get as good a service, but you may not get the service with a smile that I got, you know, when I did mine. So I want our group to get behind our sheriff and get behind our deputies, and get behind, you know, our constables, and you know, and support them. And it can only do good things for our community to do that. If they need more money, let's talk to the JPs. Let's go to some JP more court meetings. Let's let our voice be heard that we want more money for the sheriff's department to get more deputies. If, you know, whatever their needs are, let's try to do that and help them in that way. Let's go to phase 2, you know, who can join. I've got 6 groups right now. We have Bismarck, Point Cedar, Amity Road, New Road, Caney, and the Great Lake. And I did that little map and we kind of cut it up in what we thought would make the most sense. But those aren't absolutes. There may be, you know, someone that lives you know, in one of those groups or just over the line or whatever, but they mostly travel or talk to people, you know, in another area. And so, you know, those can be a little bit flexible. But the only people that can join these groups are people, residents that live in that designated area that are 18 years old or older. Because if you're younger than 18, on these groups, get your information from your parents or use their computer, you know, or whatever. But we're you know, want you to be 18 years old or older, or be a property owner. You can live off somewhere else, but if you own property in that area, then you will qualify for a member. Or if you're a caregiver for someone in that area, you may live in Arkadelphia or Hot Springs, but you on a regular basis are coming out and I'll pick on Randy, or coming out and taking care of Randy Looper here, then you know you would qualify because you need to know what's going on in that area. And we're going to be stricter on this, and you know, some of you may have already got this, and I tried to give my administrators, you know, some guidance in that. If you want to be in one of those groups, and it's not required, this is an option. You know, the Bismarck Crime Watch is going to still be there. We're still going to try to give you up-to-date information on everything that we can. But in the smaller groups, it'll give you a chance to actually deal with more sensitive issues that you might not want to discuss in front of 1,200 people. But you don't mind discussing with 30, 40, 50 people, or even 100 people that you know actually live, you know, in that area. And if you, to join, you have to be one of 2 things. You either have to go to that site and actually click on join group, and then we get a request there that we deal with. But if we go back and look at your profile and it says that you live in Hot Springs, you know, or even if it says that you live in Bismarck, we don't know if you need to be in the Roach group or the Bismarck group or the Point Cedar group. So we'll send you a note asking for more clear information. What we want to give you all a chance to do tonight, and I've got 2 tables set up, you know, whenever you leave, is to, if you want to do that, is actually sign up in one of those groups. Now that's not actually joining those groups, but what that does, you'll still have to go back on your computer and click join, But if we have your name there, and we already know, your name, address, and phone number, then we can automatically approve you. We don't have to send you a personal message asking for that information and delaying like that. And that's strictly voluntary on your part. If you don't want to give your exact address, that's fine. I certainly understand that. I don't need to know that you live at 226 Hobson Avenue, for example. That would come to mind, Hot Springs. But at least tell us that you live on Hobson Avenue. And if you prefer not to give your phone number, that's not required. That's just as we go on further into our deal, that the phone numbers will be an asset, to have to get those groups even closer together. So, will Bismarck Crime Watch continue? Absolutely. We're going to be, pushing, and the way this thing has grown, I will be shocked if we don't reach 2,000 and above, within the next 6 months. Anyone that is a member of one of the 6 groups can automatically be a member of Bismarck Crime Watch. You may be already, but if you're not, if you join one of those 6 groups, I urge you to join Bismarck Crime Watch. It's an automatic. If you qualify for one of these groups, you certainly qualify for Bismarck Crime Watch. If you're not sure if you want to be in one of these groups right now, that's fine too. These are just something that we're going to build on, as we go and build those groups up. We hope that you do join them. And if you do join them, then, those groups are going to have things that they can actually help the community even more. So where do I see us going? I see us having local fundraisers in each one of these groups to raise money to get signage, to put in the group that we do have a neighborhood crime watch in that area. Maybe even word it, smile, you're on camera. Let them know that we're taking pictures of everybody there. We want to discourage people as much as we can from doing anything in our community that's not, legal or ethical. But, I want to see, and what I see us doing in the future is having within those groups, having volunteers in those groups that will actually identify people that don't have a computer to stay up on our Facebook account, Bismarck Crime Watch, and that can relay information to those people to keep them informed. I also would like to see volunteers in those groups that will check on the elderly people within their area, that will make sure, like the ice storms and stuff, things that we have, make sure that those people, are secure. If power goes off, make sure that you don't have an elderly person, living right down the street or whatever that doesn't have any auxiliary heat or anything like that. And while we're talking about that, we just went through that, and I was totally impressed, with the response that a lot of our members did to people that needed help during that period of time, that they didn't have any heat. We had one instance of a young lady and her baby who didn't have any heat, hadn't had any heat since 2 o'clock in the morning, and this was on up toward noon. We had someone that actually went and picked them up and carried them to a secure place. We had people offer to go pick up groceries for people. We had offers to do all sorts of things. So I think it's just natural for a lot of the people to want to do that, and I want to see us do even more of it in the future. In the handouts that we gave you, and I already talked about the one on the systems, but you have the one on the map that I tried to divide up what I thought would make sense. And you may not be able to read that too good, but the dividing line between, let's say, Bismarck and the Gray Lake, that follows along Highway 7. But if you live on Highway 7 and you happen to live on the south side of Highway 7, and you're only 100 yards, from somebody that's in the Bismarck crime group, then it doesn't make any sense for you just to be in the Gray Lake. And for those people, they can actually become a member of both of those groups. If they're anywhere close to that borderline or whatever, they can join the Gray Lake and Bismarck, at the same time. And we certainly would understand that. The The other lines, you know, more or less follow between, say, Bismarck and Point Cedar is right out about Rainbow Road. I believe is what we talk about, anything west of Rainbow Road. And, you know, in between, let's say, Amity Road and Point Cedar, we just kind of marked off a mile marker up there. Our administrators can talk to you, you know, about that. So, you know, the best way that I found it, and that I personally have found, is go to MapQuest. I've been told that Google actually gives you better imagery on Google Earth on that. You can pull that up and see, and we'll try to assist you in what group that you might belong to in that. And then the emergency phone numbers, I compiled those just for the benefit of all of you, so you can have that, put on your refrigerator, you know, wherever you think is an important place to be. So, you know, everyone knows to call 911, at least I hope everyone does. And that's the reason I chose the picture for our groups, was the 911 on the side of that police, you know, cruiser that had on that, to just, you know, jog everybody's memory, you know, call 911. But a lot of times when you call, it's not urgent, it's not an emergency. And the other phone numbers that I put on there, I tried to cover what I thought would be numbers, you know, that I would want to call. And at the time that I made that up, we were having a lot of complaints in the community about loud explosions that were actually rattling the doors and rattling the windows, you know, of residents out here. And it was pretty much found out, you know, that the people were shooting a product called tannerite. That's that's an exploding target. The problem with that product is that you can put several of those together, and instead of having an exploding target, you've got a bomb. And I think that people were trying to kind of one-up each other, and you know, and maybe thought it was neat, you know, that they'd blow up a bigger stack of that stuff. I even saw, and I shared, you know, one YouTube video where someone had taken what looked like a half a gallon of that in a container and put it inside of a hollow tree and exploded it, and it literally blew a tree that was looked like it was at least 20 inches across. Literally blew that tree off of its foundation. So it's very explosive. I also posted where, I believe it was Oklahoma, that a young man actually put some of that in a stove or something and shot it and blew it up. And it actually killed his 8-year-old cousin, a little boy that he was out there watching the people that he admired. You know, he wasn't even allowed to touch a gun, but he was out there, and it killed him and sent this young man's, one of his best friends, to the hospital. So that's not anything to fool around with. So I actually, you know, when I compiled this with that in mind, I actually put on here the ATF hotline for bombs, because the ATF takes things like that very seriously, and I take things like that very seriously. And you know, it's kind of funny, after I published this on Crime Watch, these phone numbers and everything, and ever since I published the ATF hotline for bombs, I don't know if the people ran out of money for buying tannerite or decided they were through for a while, but I haven't had any complaints lately, you know, of anybody, you know, blowing things up. So that may be one case where, you know, hey, I didn't know they could call 1-888, we will get you, you know, if you take this stuff. I don't think people realize what they're doing. I mean, after the Oklahoma City bombing, who would have ever thought to take a van load of fertilizer and blow up a building? And ever since that time, you know, you have to actually show a cause why you need a certain amount of fertilizer. You know, it's regulated. And I think that's where we're going to go with tannerite, especially if this young man was killed. I think, you know, they're going to limit the sale of that to, you know, to certain, you know, quantities. Where right now I think people can buy all of it that they want. But anyway, on that, I thought that was important to have. And, you notice on that, the number 2 thing after 911 was a poison line. Having raised 3 kids and have 3 granddaughters, I felt that number was, was very important to have because I've had to use it a couple of times, watching these kids grow up. And then the Arkansas Game and Fish Hotline, if, I had some reports of people actually driving up and down the road in the middle of the night, shining their spotlights, yelling and shooting 22s or whatever, just having a good old time like I used to have 40 years ago. But we live in a different world today than we did 40 years ago. For one thing, we probably have 5 to 10 times the population in what used to be very rural areas, and you just can't do that anymore. With that type of thing. And then of course the Hodgkin County Sheriff number, the Clark County Sheriff number, and then constables. And I didn't see my constables stand up with other law enforcement, but I know I've got a couple of my constables stand up and they're ready. And I want to brag on him for just a moment. Not only did he agree to come here tonight, but when I asked him if I could publish his phone number, he gave me his personal cell phone number to publish. So when you call that number, you can actually, that's his cell phone number. We'll have that with him at all times. Neil was going to be here tonight. I guess in emergency, he's got an 865 number, and then New Roads, Franklin Perry. We actually have 5 constables in the Bismarck School District. The other 2, I couldn't find any phone numbers on, so I didn't know how to contact them about this meeting, or I don't know how anybody would contact them if they had an emergency. But the local constables, can help you, and at least they can give you information, to the right person to talk to. I put the suicide hotline on there. Regrettably, in the world that we live in today, and people, having a harder economy than we've had in years, there's just a lot of people out there that need help, need to be able to talk to someone, let them talk them through, the deal. And the domestic abuse hotline also. And then I put the 2 on 4th Street to report a fire that's already burning, if you think it's out of control, you've got an 800 number. But if you intend to burn, what we call a control burn, it's asked that you call and report that also. So when the fire department gets a call that they're seeing this lot of smoke billowing up, from this area, if somebody's called in and said that we're going to do a control burn, or we're burning a couple of brush piles or whatever, it saves time and it saves manpower of them having to go and investigate that. So it's just something that you need to do. Anyway, that's about all that I have for you guys right now. Y'all have been just great. I'd asked that deal for everybody to wait until the end of the questions. And if you have any questions for me or for any of any of our people here, the floor is open to you guys. Yes, please. You can come up here if you want to get the mic too. Okay.
I kind of wanted to give you guys some more information, kind of from what I do, and then about the tax the sheriff talked about. My name is Brock Baker. A lot of you have probably seen me on the group. Some of you have talked to me. I actually have the group connected to my phone and tablet. So if something goes off at 4 o'clock in the morning and it hits my phone, I'm going to know it. And I also have a direct line to all of the sheriff's deputies. So whenever something goes on with you guys and it's posted, even if I'm not in 911, I still have a direct line to the office. Make sure it's taken care of. My boss, Robin Halbert, would love to be here tonight. Unfortunately, he had a family emergency. But we serve all of Hot Spring County. A couple of things I wanted to go over with you guys, just from an 911 perspective and the tax perspective. Raise your hand if you think when you call 911 that we know where you are. Anybody?
On your phone.
Okay. So whenever you call 911 from your phone, we have a general direction of where you are, but it never gives us an exact location unless you have a landline. So it's very important that the first thing you tell us is where you are, especially if something serious is going on, because that may be the last thing you're able to tell us, and then we have to send an officer there. The second thing is to keep in mind, especially with staffing, is when you call 911, a situation may seem really serious to you. Someone may have sped down your road really fast, dogs kept barking, keeping you up all night, and I understand that frustration. I'd be mad too. But if on the other side of Bismarck, I have an officer situation with a domestic disturbance with a weapon, unfortunately, both my officers have to be there, and I have to be concerned about their officer safety first. But please understand that when you call 911, everything gets dispatched, everything is en route. We have to click when they're en route, when they were told about it, when they arrive, and when they finish. And all of it has to be detailed notes, and it never has to go to court. All of that is kept up with. I try my best to get over to your guys' site. I hope that you guys see that. And I think you've done an amazing job. One thing that I would like to warn about with Bismarck, and I've said this on the site before, is sometimes when all of you look at the bad stuff that happens and you post about the bad stuff, sometimes you forget that you have a really great community. So sometimes it looks like you live in Gotham City and you should have Batman, because all you're getting posted about is, you know, there's cars here and there's stolen vehicles there. But sometimes, you know, you don't say the things like a neighbor really came and helped today, or, you know, someone helped because we didn't have heat. So remember those kind of positive things too when you post on the Crime Watch. The other thing I would like to say is when you report something, let's say you report a driver's license to us. You call 911 and you say this is a suspicious vehicle, and I run that license plate. It may hit through the Arkansas Crime Network and go to the FBI Crime Network, and it may become a case that's involved in a whole different state with whole different law enforcement agencies involved. And so you may think that nothing is going on. You may think that we ignored your call totally, when in reality, the Texas Rangers or the FBI is looking into why that car is where it is. There are times, and I've never had an actual person hit, but if a name, whenever you type it in, sounds like someone else's name, it'll hit up. And sometimes we'll have people pop up that will be like on a terrorist watch list. It won't be a real terrorist, but their name sounds that way, so it'll still pop up. So a lot of times that happens, and all of that stuff gets reported. So just because you don't think something has happened, that's not necessarily true. And a lot of times, when I see stuff posted on the Crime Watch, I can't correct it when it's wrong, because I can't let you know if an ongoing investigation is going on, or someone's fixing to get arrested, or I have a sheriff's deputy outside their house and they're about to go in. Because my first priority is to make sure that my deputies come home and out to their family, and to make sure you guys are safe. So that's from the 911 perspective. We try very hard. We understand that we're public servants. My boss, you know, tells us that all the time, and I hope whenever you call 911 and you're happy, you've gotten a good experience. From the sheriff's perspective, and I know I've said this on the page, I'm a volunteer, not a sworn deputy. I can't pull you over, can't give you a ticket, but I do help out as much as I can. And I'm working with them on the tax plan. The tax plan right now, for 1/4 of a cent, you take a penny, you cut it into 4 pieces, which don't, so you can't use your penny, but would pay for 4 deputies and the equipment and cars for those 4 deputies, extra on patrol, 4 extra jailers, and an extra clerk to help keep up with the sex offenders in our county. Just by itself, for that 1/4 of a cent. Not to mention what you already are going to get from maybe the fire department, which, by the way, you guys in your area have great fire departments. We keep up with we have to fax them their information, how long it took them to get to the site. And they can tell you, you know, as soon as they get there, it's reported. As soon as the fire's out, it's reported. And they do a really great job, so you should all be really appreciative of their volunteer work too. So the final thing is, you know, like I said a while ago, you guys are all here for a reason, because you care about Bismarck. And a lot of times the group can get negative because you post things that are wrong in the community or things that you're worried about. But sometimes you got to take a moment to remember the things that are good and that have been solved. I know there's been a lot of stuff in Bismarck, a lot of calls that I've taken that have really great endings. Lives have been saved, and those things need to be remembered too. But thank you very much for letting me speak.
One of the things that I wanted to cover, I took quite a bit of heat, early on for deleting comments that, were on a particular post. And, I've got all these administrators looking at it, and we actually have a chat group where we can talk to each other, now where we can discuss that. But if, I try to let people comment as much as I can, because I know everyone has an opinion, and my opinion is, certainly not the only correct opinion out there. But if you get in a situation that you feel like you have to comment on something in a negative manner, be polite, be professional, and, and put your point out there, and I really don't have any problem with that. But if you are antagonistic. Anyway, if you're rude, that's a word that I can say. If you're rude to another member on there, that's not productive, and it's not what we're all about. And I'm going to delete that, and my administrator's going to delete that. And I from the very first on all of this, I haven't wavered from that. I told somebody one time early on in this, when people really give me a lot of heat, that I may have to delete everybody except me, myself, and I, and we don't always agree. So, our people are donating literally hours every day to try to keep this site running, try to bring you the latest information, try to bring you the contact information that you need, like when we have the bad weather, the contact information you needed for, to see if the road was clear, the contact information you needed to see when energy was going to, get your area back up and running, and the same with South Central Electric Co-op. Trying to, and I would change my pinned post, and I'm only allowed one pinned post, by the way, for the group. So right now, I just kept adding things. Right now, if you click on continue reading on anything, it takes a few seconds to load, all that, because I've got most of the information that I handed out tonight. I have on that page. It's not as easy to read or get to as it is, but it's there. But whenever a situation arises, like it did with all the power outages, I carried that information to the very top of the page, where you could readily see that information. And that's what I try to do. But another thing that we didn't touch on, this several weeks ago, we were requested, and I think it was a reasonable request, not to comment where an officer has someone pulled over, not to comment where an officer is sitting in his patrol car, because it was a potential danger to that officer. And in light of Ferguson, Missouri incident, the incident in New York, and then the two police officers that were executed while they were sitting in their patrol car by that guy in New York. We don't live in the same world that we used to live in, and I thought that was a very reasonable request, and I immediately notified all of my members that this has been requested, and this is what we're going to do. And I took a lot of heat for that, and I accept that. But the statement that I made that ended the conversation was, that I thought it was a reasonable request. I had given my word that we would comply with that request, and that I intended to honor my word. And so, you know, if you post that, and everybody's been real good, I haven't seen anything posted, you know, since. But if you post that, we will immediately delete it. You know, they don't even have to talk to one another to see whether we should delete this or not delete it. It will be immediately deleted. You know, that's all I have. In the back, if y'all wanted to give us your name, address, and phone number, so you can get approved when you get home, click on the site, you know, and ask for approval. We can do that. Is there any questions at all about what we've done, where we're going, anything maybe we need to do? I'll have some administrators back there behind the tables there if they have any questions.
I don't have a question, but I was going to say iDriveArkansas.com is great for the roads. I travel a lot for work. As soon as I was getting up with all this weather, I was instantly clicking on it. We live right on Highway 7, and I saw the plow trucks going by and the sand trucks going by. They did an excellent job, and I actually was using that. And then, I mean, like, I was out on Tuesday, and I mean, granted, yeah, we do live on 7, so they take care of it, so it is easier for us to get out. But I just took my time, and that's a really good tool as well. They do really good around even this area. I mean, you can only really see 7. But I mean, I know a lot of people travel up and down. So.
And that's one of the links, you know, that I've got on the post, you know, on there. It kind of got pushed down, you know, a little bit with the power outages, you know, with that. That is one of the links that I have on there. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, guys. Y'all be safe.